On the news tonight, federal government reiterates commitment to enhance the integrity of electoral process. Progressive Governors Forum backs Tinubu's reforms as DSS warns against proposed protests. Good evening, you are welcome to NTA Jebu the News at 7. I'm Titi Layoke. That's for staying tuned with us. Now, the news and details. The Renewed Hope Livestock Reforms Committee has promised that Nigeria will have a report implementable to resolving the farmers' elders clash in 2 weeks. Co-chair of the committee, Professor Atahiru Jega, made the commitment after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the State House. State House correspondent Musbao Danwahab reports.
The ranches you recommend and promote, I will work with it for the success of this program and the first success of the entire nation. So we will leave a Nigerian flag without stain to our children.
2 weeks ago, President Bola Tinubu confirmed the political will of his administration towards finding a lasting solution that has appeared elusive for years to the violent clashes between farmers and herders in Nigeria. The committee long swung into action, and yet again is another demonstration to press home the urgency of purpose. Chairman of the committee himself, President Tinubu, met his co-chair, the secretary, as well as the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. It was a strategic conversation in the topmost office. Returning from the owner of a vision, the committee's mission becomes clearer.
We have received great encouragement by Mr. President, given his recognition of if we get this thing right, we will add tremendous value to so many things really in our country.
Mr. President today has expressed his excitement, has expressed his anxiety, and he's very anxious for this to take off. You are well aware that a new ministry has been created by Mr. President, and he is waiting for the report so that the ministry can take off immediately after the report has been submitted by the committee.
The farmers' herders crisis has grown in complexities over the years, but the committee, with its array of intellectuals, says it is approaching the issues with clear understanding of the sensitivities.
The challenges have been many, and I will not say it is not going to be difficult. It will be difficult, but it is not impossible to actually get it right. And I know that all the members of the committee are focused in terms of ensuring that we get this thing right.
But then, they are certain of the efficacy of their report in the making to rewrite the story of livestock industry in the country.
So Nigerians should expect from our committee recommendations that, if successfully implemented, could add tremendous value in terms of achieving those defined objectives of opening up the opportunities in the livestock sector and also helping mitigate crises and conflicts which are associated with this sector.
I'm sure and I have full confidence that the report will be something that will see results in both the immediate, short and mid-term and even long-term solutions to what we see in the livestock industry now.
From the State House, Musbao Danwahab, NTA News.
Progressive Governors Forum has appealed to Nigerians to give the Tinubu's presidency more time to full launch the path for economic rebirth and prosperity. Chairman of the Forum and Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, made the appeal immediately after a closed-door session that lasted several hours in Abuja. The Forum says resolving to test the will of government by embarking on protests to challenge the current economic challenges was inconsequential and repugnant to the renewed hope agenda. The governors who currently occupied more than 20 states appreciate President Tinubu for initiating intervention programs, funds, and palliative support and improving the security and investment environment.
It is another defense media operations briefing to update Nigerians on ongoing armed forces operations across the country. Topped is the discovery of plans to hijack the proposed nationwide protest by targeting government and private property.
While the protesters have a right by the Constitution to protest, they do not have a right to galvanize for the unleashing of terror. The military will not stand by and allow anarchy to befall our nation. It is our constitutional responsibility to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Similarly, the Defense Headquarters has established a unified security command structure in the Niger Delta region to curb oil theft in line with the recent presidential directives.
Ensuring the transparency of the international oil companies operating in the region, reinforcing surveillance of the oil infrastructure deployed across the Niger Delta region.
The director stressed that troops have upscaled the destruction of terrorists and bandits, logistics and military base, and are also targeting their commanders and foot soldiers. From the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
We are sorry for the wrong package. The Department of State Services says it has identified the sponsors of the planned protest and warned them not to proceed with the protest as it is not in Nigerians' interest.
Acknowledge that while peaceful protest is a democratic right of citizens, it confers sinister plans by some elements to infiltrate the protest and use it to cause chaos and extreme violence in the land. It has also identified the reason behind the protest to be political and the plotters desire to use intended violent outcome to smear the federal and subnational governments, thereby making them unpopular and pitch them against the masses. The long-term objective, the DSS confirms, is to achieve a regime change, especially at the center. The statement adds that the service has also identified, among others, the funding lines, sponsors, and collaborators of the plot. However, it does not think that aggression should be the first line of action in the instance in handling the emergency scenario. It has instead applied non-kinetic and conflict resolution strategies, including moral persuasion, stakeholders' engagement, and other multi-track diplomatic shuttles to dissuade the planners from actualizing their undesirable objective. While the different levels of government has routinely explained their agenda to ameliorate alleged harsh economic conditions, the service urges the prospective protesters to listen to the voice of reason, good conscience, and patiently engage with authorities in the interest of peace. This has become important given that violence begets destruction of lives and property, as well as serve as a distraction to governance. The agitators are encouraged to use other avenues available to them to channel their grievances without resorting to violence.
Trade Union Congress of Nigeria has warned against the possibility of the planned nationwide protest being hijacked by hoodlums and calls on the country's security agencies to ensure adequate security to protect life and property of Nigerians. President of the union, Festus Oshifo, who gave the warning during a press briefing in Abuja, says the union is not party to the protests. Joseph Otsen reports.
Centers on trading issues in the country. The planned nationwide protest, 70,000 naira new national minimum wage, and rhetoric making the rounds about Dangote refinery. TUC President Festus Osifo, while acknowledging the fundamental rights of citizens to protest, warned that such protests without a face may have mischiefs with hidden motives of causing destruction with heavy toll on the downtrodden.
When it degenerates to chaos, when it degenerates to violence, when hoodlums, hijack such protests, it may lead to several issues. And part of those issues could also be vandalization that we have also observed. And in most cases, people that are vandalized are downtrodden Nigerians like you and I.
on the 70,000 naira new national minimum wage. Osifo says the organized labor arrived at the figure after basing its negotiation on the inflation rate.
We applied that of 2020, we applied that of 2021, we applied that of 2022, we did that until 2024. And if you apply it, it will bring us to somewhere around 75,900 or thereabouts. So that is when you compound the inflation figure.
The union believes that full implementation of the consequential adjustment by government at all levels will reduce hardship.
So from grade level 1 to grade level 17, apply the 133% equally.
Different steps.
Yes, and across different steps. But at the end of the day, the agencies that is saddled with that responsibility will come out with what they think. But we will have those conversations with them. If they come out with a table that we think is not favorable to our members, we will also object.
The union is also concerned about the narrative surrounding the Dangote refinery, saying it is likely to scare investors and wants the federal government to address the issue head-on. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Jebode News. We'll be back shortly after the break. Stay tuned.
No problem. Okay, bye.
Today, bad man. Let me call phone call now. Help my ministry.
You know, since I be your main guy, have fun now or spot me data now.
Babatunde, my G from under the mother. You know, since I first asked since last week. Huh?
What are you guys going to give me first?
Can I have all of my beverages?
Guy, how far come now? Make I spoil you with cinema tickets.
You can have my lucky underwear.
Guys, just get on Glow Campus Booster.
Enjoy 100% data bonus on campus with Glow Campus Booster. Dial *312# and flex on campus non-stop.
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data.
Glow Unlimited.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to enhancing the integrity of the electoral process through policy reforms and collaboration with relevant stakeholders. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, at the Election Integrity Promotion Alliance Stakeholders' second roundtable meeting in Abuja underscores the importance of integrity of electoral process in engendering the trust of the citizenry in governance. Kenneth Nanim reports that Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office in the Office of the SGF, Richard Rilangwa, stood on behalf of the SGF. The report.
The integrity of elections is fundamental to the legitimacy of governance structures and building of public trust in a democratic process, no doubt. Armed with these facts, stakeholders at this forum are brainstorming, putting into perspective factors that have negatively influenced the electoral process in the country in the past, with the aim of charting a new roadmap towards transparent and credible elections.
It is incumbent upon us as parts of this process to ensure that every vote counts and every voice is heard without impediment or undue influence.
Others are of the opinion that lawmakers should be elected to operate on a part-time basis. They also believe that with more stringent sanctions in place, training and retraining of security agencies, and the deployment of ICT during elections will make the process become more credible.
Collectively, we have a responsibility to come up with innovative strategies, collaborative programs and initiatives that will enhance the sustainability of democracy in Nigeria.
While we discuss our democracy, while we discuss electoral system, we also need to discuss what happens elsewhere.
Meanwhile, the forum identified the forthcoming governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states as a litmus test to evaluate the outcomes of conversations as these. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
A secure and effective identity management system is crucial to the socio-economic and political development of societies. This informs the recent move to establish a National Identity Management Commission. National Assembly's correspondent Lami Ali reports stakeholders at the public hearing agreed that it would enhance efficiency in data protection.
This engagement is part of efforts to enhance inclusivity and efficiency in identity management and to prevent identity theft.
All over the world, that data and data utilization is really the key for development, especially in the changing world that we have.
Both the Population Commission and NIMC, as far as we are concerned, are far behind some of our key agencies in Nigeria. So we want to make sure that we pretend this rapid movement towards digitalization and biometrics.
They believe establishment of a national identity database is of essence to national security. The Director General of NIMC speaks on protective measures which include streamlining the sharing of data.
This new act that has been enacted will allow us to be able to further drive the governance approach to ensuring provision of access to services nationwide in Nigeria.
In another development, the Senate Committee on Diaspora had an interaction with some Nigerians in diaspora who visited in company of the management of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission.
It's all about understanding each other, and I think the best way to do that is by coming here to understand, because a lot of perceptions that's made when you don't understand.
And looking forward to us building bridges between the state of New York and the country of Nigeria. I think that there's lots of things that we can do together. I think on the education front, we can build people-to-people relationships and institutional relationships between universities here and our state university and our city university of New York.
We have to find ways to ensure that both sides benefit from immigration, that it's not resulting in a brain drain, but that there's obviously the repatriation of knowledge back to Nigeria in ways that help strengthen the economy.
We are ready to collaborate with you in that regard. Energy, of course, education. So you touched the sensitive, critical areas. So your visit is going to open the doors for us to collaborate in this regard.
Nigerians at home connecting with Nigerians in the diaspora is very critical. And beyond Nigerians in the diaspora, our brothers and sisters, the historic African diaspora, we're also connecting with them because together we need to build the continent, the country, and it's important to work together, trade and all that, and then regular migration. These are things we want to encourage.
Both sides seek ways of partnership in nation building on a global scale. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
For its exploits not only in the literary world, but also the way he inspires humanity as a global citizen, the living legend and winner of the 1986 Nobel Laureate Prize, Professor Wole Soyinka, continues to make immense contributions that will linger from generation to generation. As the iconic professor of literature, Wole Soyinka joins the class of the nonagenarians. His contributions and activism dedicated to human emancipation were brought to bear. Lekon Agbonde tells us more.
Marathon nature of the pomps, the intrigues and celebrations that characterize the 90th birthday of the gray-haired literary phenomenon, Professor Wole Soyinka gives a perfect picture of the position of reverence, respect and honor he occupies in the hearts of people of diverse status in the society.
What we want for ourselves, but because Soyinka is the firstborn of the creation God.
Wole Soyinka's parents had suppressed him when he was young and was going after those spirits. He would never have had the imagination to be as productive as he has been.
His life's work is a testament upon him as a creative genius. His intellectual prowess and his unwavering dedication to the advancement of humanity is without question.
We are celebrating a giant, striding not just in the literary world, but also in our nation, in Africa, birthday boy and his family members believe the honor will serve as a tonic to fuel more contributions to the development of humanity.
The relationship is actually a testament to the sense of personal commitment that I have in my work, my occupation.
The lessons of his life, the philosophy and the ideologies that he preaches, which is justice, equity, humanitarianism.
From his primary constituency, the academic world took turns to showcase their skills and creativity, reminiscing the qualities of the literary giant. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NT News.
And that does it on the news for tonight. We'll meet next time. I am Titilayoke. Have a nice rest.